goodness. Oh, sorry.
No, I think that's perfect. Hello, everyone. We're off to an amazing start. Welcome to the premiere, the very first, the pilot, if you will, of the AliCat Podcast.
Hello.
Hello. My name is Alishiera. I am joined by...
Hello, I'm CatRoulette, or Cat, or Jimmy, or I don't know, whatever people call me these days.
And yeah, we're delving into the world of podcasting, which I am very excited about. I am a big fan of podcasts, and I'm a big fan of talking and rambling. I think probably first we should just give a little bit of insight into who we are. So as I said, my name is Alishiera. I am a content creator for Legacy Esports. I'm also a massive nerd. I stream Monday to Friday, so I'm in that kind of realm of the live streaming, gaming sphere. I've been a long-time cosplayer, although that has slowed down. Hopefully that's going to be picking back up. As 2020 hopefully calms down, that's gonna come back into full swing again. A big lover of cats. Not just this CatRoulette, but cats in general.
Gosh. And
yeah, I think that pretty much summarizes me. Gaming, cats, nerdiness. I think that's a pretty comprehensive who I am. If you'd like to tell us a little bit about yourself as well, Kat.
Yes, I'm also a cosplayer for quite a long time. Since 2001, I think I started cosplaying, which is longer than I like to think about. I stream as well. Less games, more art. Less frequently than Alishiera. I've been known to take a long sip from the dumb bitch juice. And I also like cats, but I also like dogs, and I like bugs as well.
I think that's a big misconception. Being a cat lover and a dog lover is not mutually exclusive. I love dogs as well, although I am definitely a crazy cat lady.
I just made that distinction because, like, I don't really have a preference towards either. Like, I know that you love like all animals, but you're definitely like, you have a preference towards cats, whereas I just have a preference to like things that are alive. I'm like, you're cute, I like you.
It's a pretty good preference to have.
Things that are alive and not human, specifically.
I think as well, like, for people that don't know us, we come as a pairing a lot of the time. For the people that do know us, that's something that is pretty apparent in a lot of like on our social medias and things like that. We met 5 years ago this year.
Yes.
At AvCon, and so this was actually not long after I had just started cosplaying. A mutual friend of ours, Embright, kind of flagged to me that there was this big cosplay group happening at AvCon, which is one of our local conventions, and we thought, wow, it's a really good way for us to to get to know people in the same space as us. It was a little group called Era of Glamour, and was being spearheaded. One of the people spearheading it was Kat.
It was me.
And it was a time. It was a very good time for me as someone, just jumping in and delving into. We were doing these pop star skins for League of Legends that were fan-made skins by a very talented artist named Loisa. And how many people did we have in that group?
We had, at the peak of it, 40. I think by the very end, a couple of people had dropped out, so not everyone made it, but we had, at like the peak of everyone being involved, we had 40 cosplayers. And most of them, a lot of them went interstate, and most of them actually made it to AvCon. A bunch of people flew down just to be part of this, like, huge group. So it was pretty insane. Honestly, like, I know at the time it was very stressful, but like I have very fond memories of it. I don't really remember the bad stuff, so like I think at the end of it I was like driven so insane by it, but now obviously like most of my closest friends I met through that group, that I really only remember like the good stuff from it. So
yeah, I mean, and we did, and I loved the group for that, because I absolutely achieved my goal, which was getting to know people in the cosplay scene in Adelaide. So that was amazing. I think it was just like I was just in awe at you guys trying to wrangle this enormous group of cosplayers.
it was a mistake. It worked out, but it was a mistake.
It did work out. So that was kind of our like initial interactions and meeting and getting to know each other.
Wait,
which
can
was
I just
great.
say, because I remember the first time I met you, it was at one of the workshops.
Yes.
Because the other two girls who were running the group had met you and Amberite at a different event, but I was interstate or something for that, I think.
Yeah, I know you weren't there, but yes, I can't remember exactly where you were.
So when I met you for the first time, it was at a workshop when we were all like planning and like in the initial stages of making our costumes. And I just remember like you just had so much knowledge of like the lore. I can't remember the exact conversation, but I was just like blown away. You just like had such a like encompassing like deep knowledge of like character lore and just like league lore in general, and I was just like, oh my god, like this girl, I love her. I am a bit of I love a good read. I love, you know, getting into the nitty gritty of it was amazing.
It doesn't always like translate to gameplay, but I know why things are happening, and that makes me happy.
Yeah. I just thought, just distinctly remember that being the first time I met you and just being, oh my god, like, wow, I love her.
And then we had, so that was our initial meeting. Obviously, interesting kind of social dynamic with just everything happening. We did start kind of hanging out after that. Like, we've formed very strong friendships with a lot of people in that group.
Yeah, still
but then
closest friends to this day.
Yes. Absolutely. Incredible just group that we're fortunate enough to call friends. We thank our lucky stars every day for that. But then our next kind of as a group, in fact, as well, going over to Sydney 2015, I believe.
OPL finals.
So there was also Smash happening at the same time.
Yeah, the stars just kind of aligned on that one, hey. I think we didn't even plan to go originally to OPL. We had made as a group the decision to go to Smash, and then OPL just happened to be the same weekend.
Yeah, and it was very much stars aligning. It was an amazing weekend, full of ups and downs. The first time a big group of us all traveling together. Some deceptive photography.
I accidentally booked a hostel because I got fooled by carefully taken photos on their website. And I was like, oh my god, this is so cheap. I'd never properly been to Sydney before, by the way, so I didn't know.
I think this was a lot of our first times to Sydney, to be honest.
And I booked us like the worst hostel. It was oh my god, it was so bad.
It was very vaguely worded on their website, very clever angles in the photography, but you know, it was the people that we were there with that was the main thing.
Yeah, and again, in hindsight, way better than staying in a hotel and not having all the horrific stories we now have.
I know everything, and looking back at it, it is again what a learning experience we had with the accommodation, but incredible times. And then OPL hadn't intended on going because this was a time that they had sold tickets, but due to some regulations at the time with how esports was viewed in the Australian scene, I think it was something along the lines, because it was such a new industry, it wasn't deemed as a sport at the time. It was something like that, and so people were able to bulk buy tickets and then scalp them essentially. Without repercussions. It caused a lot of sadness in the scene. us nerds just wanting to go. They were very reasonably priced tickets as well, I think, because again, this is 5 years ago, when it was, the OPL scene was nowhere near where it is now. What was it, like $15 a ticket?
I didn't buy a ticket. I got...
No, so it was
I
a free
entered the
event to
cosplay
just
competition.
go in.
No, I entered the cosplay comp, so I got the...
Of course.
Yeah.
But I think it was free entry into Luna Park.
Yeah.
But to get into the tent.
Yeah, if you wanted to, like,
the seating
be
was.
inside the, like, little stadium area, you had to have a ticket.
Yeah. So Kat had won entry or a ticket with cosplay. Embright and myself, who were the other people that went with Kat, we did not win. We hadn't entered in the cosplay competition, so we hadn't won anything for cosplay. Tickets were hoarded and then kind of scalped. Some people were selling the tickets for like over $100.
Gross.
Which was... It was just unfortunate. We had a lot of... They fortunately kind of countered this. They had big screens and things outside, so people kind of just... Ember and I managed to find our way. We found our way inside the tent. I can't remember who we got tickets off of, but I think we had a couple of friends that had to leave early, so they gave us their tickets or something like that.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that.
Yeah, they I can't remember where they had to go. Anyway, we found our way in. They did remedy it by having big screens, so anyone that didn't manage to get a ticket could still be there at the event, and then they had the screens all displaying outside of the tent. Again, this was at Luna Park in Sydney. So it was a great venue. It was a really fun time.
I actually think, like, to this day, IEM is close, but because I have less sort of, like, emotional investment in CSGO, that Luna Park, like, 2015 OPL final was still, to this day, like, the best esport event I've been to.
Oh, yeah.
Or, like, the most enjoyable. I just, like, loved every second of it. There was obviously, like, so much, like, effort and thought put into everything that they did. And it was just, like, oh my god, it was just, like, so amazing. I was very new to League at that point as well. Like, I had been introduced to League around the same time that we started that cosplay group. And so, yeah, it was all, like, super new to me. I'd never been to an esport event before at all. I low-key didn't really understand what was going on in the games. I was like watching, I was too new to really like be able to follow professional play, but it was just so hype. I loved it so much, and I still just, to this day, like, my favorite esports event ever.
Yeah, I think one thing that we did learn though, not fun to sit through a whole final trying to watch a screen in contact lenses, cosmetic contact lenses, might I add. So these aren't designed. They're designed for the look, not for the comfortability of watching a pro esports final. So remember, pack eye drops, kids. If you're going to an event, it does really help you out. I learned that lesson, and I typically, that's in my kind of care package that I will take to every convention is eye drops.
Well,
it does help.
The 2016 one, I was wearing UV contacts.
Yeah, I forgot about those. Oh, what a time.
My eyes, because I wear like regular contacts. My eyes aren't too bad, luckily, with like what did you call? I'm gonna say prosthetic, and it's not right.
Oh, cosmetic.
Contacts? That's it, not prosthetic.
And maybe I think you're thinking of prosthetics.
Yeah,
your brain was trying to pull different cosplay terms in.
No, the word was just too similar, and like I said, dumb bitch juice. But yeah, luckily my eyes are like pretty alright with contacts. I've worn them for so long, and I was wearing circle lenses, obviously, for like fashion stuff. But quite young.
Yeah.
So yeah. But
and then so at that event as well. So what I kind of I consider almost, it's not a meet cute because we'd met before, but it was the solidifying of our almost like deemed by the heavens OTP.
Yeah, it was a turn of fate. From this. This was like this was a moment in our lives where like it just took a turn, like for us as like
as an OTP.
Yeah.
So we were approached by a wonderful man who was representing Logitech. We didn't know at the time. We didn't know at the time. Embright and I, Kat was off getting photos for and videography.
Oh, no. Not for...
No, you didn't get the main prize. You just got ticket entry.
Yeah, I got runner-up because I didn't have my cosplay
You got runner-up
when I submitted it.
I think you were just held up with photos. There were a lot of people there. And that was really, I think, when we found out how passionate the League community is about cosplay.
Yeah.
It was... I don't want to say difficult because it was such a good experience, but it was difficult to walk through the crowd sometimes because everyone was like, yes, I was dressed as Fiora, Embright was Syndra, and Kat was Lux. And so it'd just be like, you'd hear the character name being yelled at you.
And just as a side note, I was there with my boyfriend at the time, who by the end of it was kind of fed up.
Yeah.
And I can't even really blame him.
It was, and again, that's why I use the term difficult, because it did significantly slow down our ability to get from A to B. But it was just such a good experience because everyone was so passionate. So it was difficult, but like not in a terrible sense. So you were held up. I think you were just caught in waves of people. Star Guardian Lux is an incredibly, even to this day, with her new skins that have come out, still I would say one of the favorites.
People love that bitch. I mean, I love that bitch. So I understand.
And I think it was just so iconic, the first Star Guardian skin as well.
Yeah, it was.
So there's a lot of love for that skin. So Embright and I think we were actually en route to just trying to hunt down lanyards because that was a big thing. This gentleman approached us. We were trying to take a selfie. It's pretty awkward to try and take a selfie in costume sometimes. You've got like, wigs and hair and contacts, and sometimes you have armor, which I did. I had pauldrons and braces and things, so it can be difficult to kind of try and orient your arm and your hand and coordinate everything. If you have gloves and you can't use your touch screen, it can be a time. Very first world problem, but it can be a time. And so he saw us taking a photo. He'd actually asked us for a photo earlier, so we did recognize him. He's like, did you want me to take the photo for you? He took the photo for us, and we just had a really lovely chat with him, and offered for us to work at PAX. So that was 2015. PAX, we were already going, we all had tickets, and so Embright and I said yes, exchanged emails, and just kind of spur of the moment, I was like, oh, have you seen this really good Star Guardian Lux? Do you need 3 people? And he's like, yeah, sure, 3 would be great. And that's just kind of it went from there. That's kind of how we got into knowing people in the esports scene, specifically, or like more closely to League of Legends. We know some lovely like CSGO players and players from other esports now. But that was kind of from there with work that we did at PAX, and then we've done quite a lot of, and again, this is definitely a recurring theme. Often you'll find that we're doing work together.
Yeah.
From there, you and I were part of the Elementalist Lux, speaking of Lux,
yes.
Global Cosplay Showcase. I did Nature, the Nature form.
And I did Light.
We also then got other Riot work at Rift Rivals.
And also the one in Adelaide.
Hybrid World.
Hybrid World,
and then the same year as Hybrid World, we actually won. Well, 2 of the winners from the cosplay competition that Riot held for PAX as well, which we did Zyra Rakan.
Yeah,
which was amazing. It's just all the lines thematically. Look, we kind of pair. Coincidentally, a lot of the time as well, we just go matchy.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's wonderful.
I mean, now it's pretty intentional, but like to the point that if I ever see like 2 designs, I'm like, Alishiera and I could do this together.
Yeah, but 100%.
Yeah.
But we do kind of coincidentally sometimes still, we have on multiple occasions separately created characters for projects, and they have thematically worked together, like by embodying warm and cool color schemes.
Yeah.
I typically go a cool color scheme. You typically like to go a warm color scheme.
Mm-hmm.
And we just always accidentally make characters that work so well together.
Yeah, they always like perfectly complement whether we intend for them to or not.
And yeah, and it's just amazing. It was very much fate's aligning. And here we are today doing this podcast.
Right?
And bringing us here today with this podcast, kind of with current events, kind of why we've decided, because we've been umming and ahhing about doing a podcast for a while now.
Yeah, we've wanted to, and we've talked about it.
Yeah, it's been thrown around when we'll ask each other about kind of projects that we're wanting to kind of delve into. I think the big part of the discussion happened at the start of the year, where we said, what do we want to achieve this year?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And that's where we realized that we really should, that we've been talking about this for a while, we should give it a try. We should try and try and do a podcast, see how it goes. Look, this may fail. This may just ignite and we'll never speak of this again.
Boom.
Or it could be something that we continue to really enjoy. And with the current climate at the moment, I know with a lot of people, I mean, I work from home. I've kind of, the whole self-isolation thing, that's kind of my existence. But with you doing the responsible thing, kind of
I've been in self-isolation for a month.
And we thought also, if we can, in this time, if this is something that can help people, it pass the time. I love podcasts as like to just listen to and watch, but then I will go back and re-listen to podcasts just as kind of white noise in the background while I'm doing things. I find I'm a bit more of a motivated person when there's something happening around me. I don't work well in silence. So hey, we're here to be your white noise if you need us to as well. We're 100% down for that for you.
Well, sometimes I listen to podcasts when I can't sleep. Like, those nights where it doesn't matter what you do, your brain just won't shut off. I'll like put on a podcast, and then just like something about like being able to hear voices and stuff. Like I put it on really low. It helps me sleep. So like, if we're useless for everything else, we can't entertain you. Let us help you sleep.
Yeah, we'll be a lullaby any day of the week.
No, I've dabbled in a couple of podcasts. I don't tend to like gravitate towards them. Usually I will like go first to things that I can watch, but like when I get into a podcast, I do really love them.
I have been on a couple of podcasts before, but this is the first one where we're so it's something that I like to talk, so it's a format that I'm quite comfortable with. And speaking of like with the whole self-isolation thing as well, it has been really interesting to see the very creative ways that people have been spending their time. I'm mad respect. Thank you everyone that's social distancing, that has a strong immune system. As someone that does get sick quite easily, it's been great to see a very positive response of like let's all kind of hunker down for a little while. And just kind of help this pass through as quickly as possible. But I know you've been getting on the TikTok content you've been enjoying consuming.
Yes, I have joined the legions of TikTokers. I don't know what people call themselves. Actually, I'm not making any. I'm just spending up to 4 hours a day watching them. And I started learning some of the dances because I realized that I just don't. Like, I don't move. I'm just a complete slug at the moment. So my computer room is right next to my bedroom, and between my computer and my bed, I only go to the kitchen. So I'm just, like, not doing... I have, like, genuine, like, workout muscle pain from learning a dance. Like, I went for a walk, like a 45-minute walk, I think, like a week and a half ago, and for 2 days my legs were in so much pain and all I did was walk. Like, that's the level of like sedentary that I am at the moment. I'm just not moving. So yeah, I decided like get some exercise in there, learn some dances. Maybe I'll be less uncoordinated by the end. Maybe I'll be able to like actually dance. So far that hasn't happened. I still can't dance. It's very like I have to watch myself do it and it's really fucking cringe. But like maybe by the end, if I practice enough, maybe I'll be alright.
Yeah, well, and you never know if you don't try. And it is.
Exactly.
It's. I think that's a big thing that people have been kind of. I'm a big advocate for dancing, particularly in your own home when no one can see you. You can just go a bit kind of crazy. It is, like you say, with kind of having workout pains from it. I think when you really go ham with a dance, people don't realize how much of a workout it can be. So it's a great way. Blow off some steam, get that circulation going. It's a good time.
Yeah.
And a lot of fun.
Well,
I just get judged by my cats a lot.
Yeah, I want to just say, I love to dance. I'm just really, really bad at it. So usually, like, if I'm dancing alone at home, we have a lot of mirrors in my house. Like, all the, like, bedrooms and study rooms all have, like, ceiling to floor mirrors. So it's kind of, like, hard to avoid seeing myself do it. And I kind of just put myself off. I'm like, oh god, like, that's what I look like when I dance. Because I'll be like really feeling it and I'll be like, oh my god, I look like a fucking idiot. Which is why I only publicly dance when I'm very drunk. But I love to dance. I just wish that I was less uncoordinated.
Well, like, after this, you never know. We might come out of this being one of the most coordinated people I know.
Yeah, maybe I'll be a sick dancer. So that's my time skip transformation.
Yes, yeah.
Ooh,
I've been loving
that's something
the
we should talk about
time skip
later.
Transformation.
Yes.
But something else that we've been seeing a lot of, which it's not a new hobby for us, but I know both of us have been really happy to see, is more people getting into, the old TTRPGs, a very little known game, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
We are part of a Monster of the Week campaign. That you came in and guest starred in.
Yeah, I was a
night.
guest character in a Monster of the Week campaign, which was very fun.
And it's been great actually seeing either just consuming of the content or more people expressing interest in it, because obviously there was a massive surge, like a spike in interest with Critical Role, how Critical Role has developed that in and of itself as a show, I guess, or campaign, has gotten the interest of so many people. It did already have a really strong fan base, so I think more people have been vocal about talking about they are into it as well. But I think with people in isolation, it's been great to see. I mean, we're at a time at least that's what I've heard a lot of people referring more to as like their physical distancing, because we can still be really social now with you got your Discords, Zoom has been super popular over this period, even Skype. Some people have been dusting off the old Skype and booting that up again.
Apparently
or even
Skype
just
is closing down. I wonder if this will keep them alive for a while.
Yeah, maybe it's going to extend that lifespan a little bit longer. But yeah, so people have been expressing themselves, role-playing, which is great. It does help you to not go stir crazy, I believe. Or it causes you to go crazy when you're doing character creation and you stay up until 4 a.m. poring over lore and like intricate, like you're trying to find the perfect deity, or you're trying to do this and that. You got the coin flip on that one. I mean, I know that we're both a little bit insane when it comes to writing backstory for our characters.
Really, really into character creation, more so than anything else.
And it's very much the sad reality of backstory for your characters is that is the RPing equivalent of creating a character in an RPG, and really finessing it, perfecting it, and then you wear a helmet for the rest of the game and you never see that face again. That can sometimes be what writing backstory feels like, because it's so good to have it there in case in case this little snippet comes into play. But often, probably about 75% of the character backstory remains hidden throughout most of the campaign.
Yeah, no one will ever ask you about it. None of the other players. That's what you need to remember when you're making a character. None of the other players in the game will ever ask you about your backstory. It doesn't matter how obvious you make that there's something up with your character. No one is gonna. They'll just be like, oh, like, you have literal tentacles, like, just wiggling their way out of your robes. That's chill. Whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna go do this.
We have both been in campaigns, but I know that is relatively recent experiences that you're talking from.
And also, like, no shade, by the way. I also generally don't ask other people about their characters because I'm busy having tentacles wiggling my way out of the robe. So, like, that's no shade. It's just, like, a thing that happens. Like, everyone is very focused on their own character, and then, like, you realize that you don't know anything about any of the other characters. So, we had recently just like this past week, a character in my campaign die, and I realized afterwards that I had never asked him anything about his backstory, and I was like, now I'm just never gonna know about this character, and I feel like a piece of shit. So, just know, no one will ever ask you about your character backstory. It's for you and the DM only.
And I think it is something as well, though, okay, tentacles creeping out from under robes, that might be a little bit more obvious. But you might say something, you might, like, allude to something, and you think you're being so cunning, and you've, like, just given the most intriguing little snippet of information. No one cares.
Just like a little morsel, just like, oh, this will entice them. You're just trying to, like, get them on the hook. And then everyone just, nah, fuck yeah.
I did, actually, though, in saying that, in one of our previous campaigns, kind of stopped a particular character finding out about anything about me, because it was always a roll, an insight against my deception, and she was a warlock, and she was very good at deception. Everything always seemed fine with her. Literally nothing up with her. She was fine. She's great. So, I mean, I contributed a little bit to that.
Yeah, true. Like, how are you? Internal, like, raging turmoil? Fine. And then that's it, because they can't roll past your roll.
But then you will have other instances, like, within the exact same campaign, our DM threw just the softest ball, the softest little plushy ball you could ever envision to our party about certain things about our characters every time they dropped the ball. They just didn't care.
Yeah.
Just didn't care. It was just like every time there was something else going on that piqued their interest more than certain little character development things. But that is the way. It's like the IRL, like when you roll insight checks or you roll perception checks, that's kind of, it reflects well on human nature, because there will be things that you just don't pick up on. And I'm sure there have been countless times that I have not picked up on a character, like another player character, trying to subtly hint or subtly incorporate something into a campaign. It is just...
Yeah,
sometimes
just
we
like,
suck.
Interesting. Just like shrug it off and continue on our way. It's like, oh, that was weird. Anyway.
I think also it can be fun reflecting on... I'm not going to say it's fun at the time, because you should never aim to derail your DM's campaign. But it can be fun reflecting on and kind of going back. If your DM ever does, like once you've closed a chapter of a campaign, or maybe after you've finished like this long road of a campaign, asking about like things that we pursued, and like kind of asking about things that we missed going through certain chapters of a story.
Oh my god.
Because I know we had several times, I very clearly remember this one character, shady priest character, that yours and my characters hated.
Yeah.
And he'd fled town. And we were ascertaining, because you're a ranger, so you're real good at those survival checks and that tracking and stuff. And we're like, where did he go? Do we have an idea of the direction he left? And they're like, and they kind of, one of the NPCs was saying, oh, like, I'm sure we'll dispatch some guards after him at some point. I'm not sure if he's, like, our priority number one right now. We're like, no, where did he go? Like, I think we should know where he went. What if he has a clue? And they're like, oh, we recovered. It looks like he left in a hurry. Didn't really look like he took much. I don't know if he'd have anything of importance. We're like, we need to know where this man is now. Yeah. Like, we need to find and apprehend this gentleman.
We did not like him, and he must die.
And our poor DM, bless their cotton socks, they somehow got us back on track. I don't know how they persuaded us to drop chasing this guy, but it is very interesting to, like, I haven't DM'd before. I would love to at some point, probably starting with a one shot rather than jumping into a full campaign, but I would love to be on that side of the table. Well, because it's just an interesting perspective to have.
Yeah, I'm always so fascinated. Like, I spend a lot of time thinking about, like, if we hadn't made the choices we've made, like, what would have happened. Like, it happened in the Monster of the Week campaign, like...
Yes.
Just in that, like, a couple of the players, including Ali, rolled super well and sort of, like, just diffused a situation, like much more easier than expected. But I'm just like, what would have happened? Like... if that hadn't gone so well for us, like, how would it have gone? And I wonder that a lot. Like, there are so many times where either, like, we roll really well in campaigns and just, like, defeat things very easily, or we go a different direction than the way the DM envisioned it going, and it's just, like, I don't know, it's just so interesting to me to think about, like, all the possibilities of, like, things that they could have planned. And then I just feel bad that we somehow always, like, as players... we just ruin it for them. The DM has beautifully laid plans, and we're just like, but what if, like, just hold it there. What if none of the things that you spent hours and hours planning happened, and instead we go and do this, like, absolute stupid, useless, pointless fuckery for 3 hours, and just completely, like, circumnavigate your plans.
Yeah, and because it is, and, I mean, can we take just this moment, huge shout out to DMs.
Yeah.
In general. The amount of work that is put in with, like you're saying, thinking about, okay, if they can manage to diffuse this quickly, what is the next thing that happens?
It's actually next level. Like, just the amount of planning, and even, like, being able to consider, like, because I'm a very creative person, but I think in, like, such a linear way, it's difficult for me to be like, but what if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? Like, I'm just like, okay, I will write this story, and this will happen. And then, like, that's why I haven't DM'd, because I have a lot of ideas, but I just, like, I don't think that I can adapt quickly enough, because, like, that's just not the way I create things. Like, I'm too rigid in my ideas. And I don't think I could be changeable enough on the fly to, like, knowing myself as a player and, like, people that I've played with, I just know the way that we do things, and it's not something I think that I could personally handle, which is the thing that's holding me back from being a DM, because I think it would be super fun.
Yeah, and it's again, so Kat is part of a channel called Wisdom Saves.
Yeah.
Amazing channel. They currently have book club running. Very soon going to be starting another campaign. Mm-hmm. That yours truly might be a part of.
Perhaps.
I'll never tell. Which will be, I believe, a fortnightly run campaign, this one though, isn't it?
Yes. Just because of schedules. Our DM lives in America, so it makes matching up the times a little bit difficult, and so it just sort of worked better for us to do it fortnightly.
But it's, and in making it work for everyone, actually probably a great time slot for the casual Dungeons and Dragons enthusiasts for any of our fellow Australians. It's looking like it's going to be, a Sunday afternoon?
Yeah, Sunday afternoons every second week.
Have a leisurely Sunday afternoon, crack a couple of bevies, just enjoy, make a cup of tea.
Yeah, chill out.
A nice wind down of the weekend. It's not a bad timing. It kind of did work quite well. And we have
the only problem I have is that I would like to play D&D every day of the week.
Yes.
And having to wait 2 weeks between a campaign is deeply painful to me.
It is. And we have another campaign that we don't have a definitive date on this particular one. We love role-playing, okay? Don't at us. Don't judge us.
Yeah,
yes, we have a lot of campaigns and things on the run. It's who we are as people, okay? It's fine. I write a lot of notes. We keep a tight ship on knowing what's going on in each of our campaigns. Okay,
I don't write notes. I'm the chaotic player that never takes any notes, doesn't know what's going on ever, just tries to recall information, remembers really useful stuff that will trip up the DM because I'll bring it up 6 episodes later and be like, but didn't you say this to an NPC and just ruin everything? But I don't take notes. I have a character. I'm like what is it? The Tome Warlock? Pact of the Tome?
Pact of the Tome, yeah.
I made this character. I made a fucking book for them. And I was like, I'm going to write down everything. I'm going to write everything. It happened 2 episodes, and I realized I'm so bad at taking notes that I never did it again. So, you are the organized player who takes notes, and I am the huge mess who doesn't take any notes and just hopes for the best.
Okay, between us as a party, we have enough notes taken. we keep kind of things under wraps. But we do have another campaign that we don't have a set date yet. But we have a new player joining us, which is super exciting.
Brand new baby new player.
Yeah, and I'm so exciting. I'm not sure. Should we say who it is? Because I'm very exciting.
Yeah.
Excited.
You're also very exciting.
Oh, thank you. But should we say or should we keep it a secret? I don't think it's a secret. I think
I don't know.
I think we can say. I think they're doing a character creation stream before this will go live. So look, I'm gonna make the executive decision and say we can say it's Vandy, who hopefully some of you guys know. She is lovely. She streams as well. Wonderful person.
Actually, just such a delight of a human being.
Absolute fucking delight of a person. Her first campaign, which is so exciting. I know that she has been introduced to the world of holy shit. There's so many different player races. Have fun. Oh yeah, look at all these classes. But then what are you going to specialize in? Like with this class, you're going to be, warlock. Which pact warlock are you going to be? You're paladin. Which oath are you going to be? There's so much. But so she, I believe, by the time this goes up, I think she was aiming to have a character creation stream.
Oh my god, that's so exciting.
Which is super exciting. I will definitely be watching that. Because just seeing the pure joy of someone creating a character.
Yeah, we'll be all up in chat.
Oh, we're gonna be all up in there.
Right up in that chat.
Right up in that chat. It's just gonna be a good time. But yeah, and so it's a great thing. I'm so happy to see more people jumping into it. It's just, if you have been considering, if there's some great forums and things like that people run one-shots all through. I mean, there's Roll20, Tabletop Simulator, which I know is what you guys use for your Wisdom Saves campaign. I believe for this campaign that we'll be jumping into as well. We'll be using it. A lot of games allow you to do your own dice rolls. If you're a new player, you may not have your own sets of dice that kind of encapsulate all of the dice that you need. I think when you say a dice, the average person thinks of a D6, because that's your stock standard. If you see imagery
actually,
of a die,
it's a die, a single die.
A single die. I'm so sorry.
It's
sorry.
not a dice.
Fake TTRPG fan confirmed.
Yeah, thanks.
But there are digital rollers as well that you can use. So if you're thinking about it, go for it. There's so many forums encouraging and offering so much information.
Yeah, just do it. Just play D&D.
Yeah.
Just do it. Just play D&D.
Yeah.
There's no good reason not
It's
to.
a good time. Or there's so many other TTRPGs as well. The Monster of the Week, I would say, is maybe not quite as readily available, like one-shot campaigns available to jump into, just because of the enormous player base of Dungeons and Dragons. But there's so many different TTRPGs that are, like, Monster of the Week has been fantastic. That's kind of my first, that I have played, my first TTRPG outside of Dungeons and Dragons. I have watched a lot of different campaigns, but that's my first one that I've played outside of Dungeons and Dragons.
There are actually just so many that I want to play, but I don't have the time. I mean, I don't even have the time now when I have all of the time. Like, oh my, I really want to play the Star Wars one. I want to play Cyberpunk. Oh my god, there's like
Vampires the Masquerade.
Yeah, Vampires the Masquerade. There's just so many.
Taliesin, he ran a Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Which was amazing. Which I love that kind of gothic horror.
It's so good.
Vibe. Amazing. But I would say that Monster of the Week has been both more relaxed and equally more stressful in parts. I think it's a little bit more simplistic in the sense of you don't have all of your stats and things like that like you do in Dungeons and Dragons. You don't have to worry specifically about how, like, is my, like, constitution high enough for my class. But I feel like almost with the variables, because it's a mystery, I feel like each decision I make, I need to be a little bit more calculated with. It's like, how will this one question that I ask, am I asking the right question? So anyone that hasn't played Monster of the Week, you can investigate a mystery, because it is that kind of detective work almost, or detective work adjacent. So you roll to investigate a mystery, and then depending on how high you roll will dictate how many questions you can ask, if any questions, and then you have a list of questions you can ask from. So there's a lot to it. It feels like the time passes and you feel like you've achieved a lot more. I think Dungeons and Dragons, with the RP side, sometimes you feel like you do a whole lot of nothing, but you have a really good time still.
Yeah,
but
sometimes
then when
you
reflect
legitimately
on the session,
just do a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, you reflect back and like, okay, what did we achieve today? I
Nothing.
don't think we really achieved anything, to be honest. We had a really good time. We had really good conversation.
Yeah, we enjoyed ourselves. But we did absolute sweet dick all.
We just went and heckled the poor barkeep in the tavern we're staying at, and then just sat and drank and had conversation, and then went to another room and had conversation, and then kind of,
we just harassed the locals, made some people feel bad about themselves.
But we tipped the bard. We tipped the local minstrel, so that was fun. But yeah, it's just, there's so much. So much. We could really ramble.
In fact, we have. I was actually going to say, did we decide how long we wanted this episode to be? Because we're about to hit 50 minutes.
How time flies. I think we'd settled on, that hour. That's a pretty...
We'll do an hour?
Conventional timing for a podcast, I feel.
I don't know if anyone will be able to survive listening to us for an hour.
I mean, thank you if you're still here. If you're still here with us. Amazing.
Yeah, feel very blessed, but also shocked. Wow. Your dedication. Your strength.
But I guess that is, at the same time, the beauty of a podcast. Like, when it's pre-recorded, you can come back to it. I mean, if you want.
Please come back.
Hopefully this is something that you guys want to come back to.
Please come back.
But if not, we do understand.
Yeah.
I mean, we understand you may not want to because of who we are as people. And we're very unapologetic about who we are as people, but we
understand.
do understand.
It's like whenever I think about how many people probably have me muted on Twitter, and I'm like, You do you. Do what's good for you. I understand.
Live your best life.
Yeah.
But I guess, like, while we're on the topic of what are we doing with our lives here, I think it's probably a good time. So this podcast, we are aiming for it to be weekly, ideally. Please be patient with us as we just begin our journey. We are baby when it comes to podcasting. So please be patient. We may have times that we have technical difficulties.
Yeah.
But we may have times that we've both been sipping that dumb bitch juice and don't know what we're going to talk about for a week, don't necessarily have something organised. So it's guaranteed at some points in time you are going to have chaotic podcasts.
Yeah.
Where we're really working on the fly.
I mean, in general, we are aiming for it to be, I guess, like a variety podcast. Like, we don't have a theme. We're not, like, doing anything in particular. We're just, like, having a chill time, talking about whatever is relevant to us at the moment, which hopefully is, like, interesting to other people. Just hearing, like, the thoughts in our brains coming out at ya.
If we have to live with the thoughts that are in our brains, now you get
Yeah.
to too.
So
It's
do
amazing.
you.
The power of the internet. But yeah, like we might, sometimes we might have in a stream, someone suggests something to us. Someone might tweet something at us and say, y'all should do this.
Yeah, well,
And
like, if anyone does
we
have
might.
ideas of stuff that we could talk about, like, if you just want our opinion on something, like, God, we have so many opinions. Please let us give them to you.
But yeah, we'll kind of ramble. We'll be kind of sticking within the realm of our passions.
Probably
and
gonna
things
talk
that-
a lot about D&D. Like, not
Oh,
gonna lie. There's
for
gonna be a
sure.
whole lot of D&D.
Look, this is not going to be like a fireside chat about specifically our campaigns. We can promise that at least. It's not like... It will definitely be talking about D&D. But we do promise it will not be rambling tangents specifically about our campaigns.
Too much. Not all the time.
Too
Sometimes,
much.
sometimes maybe a little bit.
Sometimes you just got to decompress from a really intense session.
Yeah, or maybe
But other
we just need to
times-
tell you about our characters because no one else will ask.
No one asked us. And we just, please listen to my 17 pages of lore that I wrote about my character and his childhood.
That's not a
and-
joke, by the way. She shared
yeah.
her PDF document with me, and she actually has, like, it looks like a uni assignment. It's so, like, it's set out. It has, like, different sections with, like, the, like, headings, and it's a very lovely, like, aesthetic document, but it looks like homework. I'm so proud of you.
Yes. I am a self-confessed, I love a good formatting of a document. Love a good Excel spreadsheet. Like to have everything kind of, ship shape if I can.
Cheeky spreadsheet.
Cheeky spreadsheet. Just maybe slip in a little spreadsheet. I'm not lying either. Kat can confirm.
Oh my god.
I love gardening as well. That's another thing that I like. And I had a fully formatted document, Excel document, that had all of the different plants I wanted to grow. I had the propagation times, I had the time of year that they were going to be sowed. It was formatted so that I could easily access by either season or specific month. And I was trying to find the specific, because I needed to know. Feverfew, which is in the daisy family, it's kind of like chamomile. Kind of. I wanted to know from its maturation how long from when the plant was fully matured did it flower. Turns out that's not listed anywhere.
No.
Anywhere. Because it's determinate on the season. So you can kind of grow it a lot of times of year, and then it needs to come back to the correct season to flower, which is the reason why. That was not a good enough reason to me. I want to know, how long will it be until it flowers? So I have yet to do that. I need to grow more feverfew. I'm going to find out.
By the way,
How long?
yeah, we were in a Discord call for, I think, pretty much the whole day, as we tend to do. And this was just, like, the whole day, this kept coming up. Like, you were, like,
I was
so dead
researching
set
it.
on finding out. You're like, I will know. And so, yeah, the spreadsheet, it must be complete. Very important.
it pains me to this day that it's still not completed. But, you know, I digress. Maybe we'll have an episode one time. We'll talk about herbs, and we can link it into, like, some RPG stuff, you know, alchemy in games.
I know some herbs, like thyme and oregano, and that's pretty much it.
Or oregano, for any of our States friends.
Is cinnamon a herb?
Cinnamon is a bark of a tree. So it technically doesn't fall into the realm of a herb, but
But I like it.
It's a spice. Herbs and spices. But cinnamon is good.
Cinnamon good.
Yeah, cinnamon good. That's
Yeah,
if you take one thing from this podcast.
That's what I was gonna say. If all you learn is one thing, just like remember, cinnamon good.
Cinnamon good. Chuck it in a hot chucky. Chuck it on a cinnamon donut. It hurts. Cinnamon good.
Cinnamon good.
Cinnamon good. But, well, looking at that, I cannot believe that we have managed to so easily talk for an hour. But here we are.
Here we are.
Coming to the end of thank you. Anyone that is still here.
Yeah, God, you
Anyone
absolute
that is
fucking
still
trooper. You did it.
Oh, and we'll know if you mention to us that you watched it. If you don't say cinnamon good, we're gonna have our suspicions.
Yeah, we're gonna know.
Did you make it to the end? We'll just what is good? What is good,
Yeah.
my guy? And if you don't say good, cinnamon good, you know,
You're a fraud.
maybe that can be our thing.
But
At the
actually,
end
if
of each
anyone-
podcast will say what's good.
Yeah.
This week's good is
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
But that said, if you listen to like 50 seconds of this, then thank you. Like, if you
Yeah.
listen to like 2 minutes, thank you. Like, you don't need to get to the end. If you listen to any of this, like, I feel blessed.
very blessed. And yeah, you guys won't hear it if you did only listen to 30 seconds. But in saying that, it's not only 30 seconds. It's 30 seconds of your valuable time
Yeah.
that you allowed to at least give us a chance. And
Bless
we
you.
are very appreciative of that.
Yeah.
Very appreciative. But I think that's
Pretty much it.
That's where we're gonna. That is us. I mean, we could keep going, but if we keep going, we're gonna get in a conversation loop, and this is gonna be a 17-hour podcast.
Yes.
So
One
yeah,
day, maybe one day we'll just do a 24-hour podcast and we'll just record.
Oh, God,
we'll
maybe-
record a whole day that we sit in Discord and just talk to each other. But I'm actually like kind of shocked how easy I guess this was. Like, I've been like very apprehensive about it, and I mean, like, I guess we'll see like once we've like released it whether it's actually complete dog shit. But like, this felt good. I feel good about this.
Yeah, and I think it is with anything. This falls under like so many different hobbies. The hardest thing is jumping in and starting it.
And we'll get better.
So same.
If you're giving us a
cosplay-
chance, we promise we'll get better.
Yeah,
Maybe.
that is definitely something we can. Can we promise that?
Maybe.
No promises, but we can promise that we will do our best.
We'll try.
That is what we're going to promise for you. But we are going to wrap it up there,
Yes.
coming up very close to that hour mark. So again, I am Alishiera. Thank you for hanging out with us. We'll have our socials. If you care to hear anything further from us, socials down below in the description. If you liked this, you'll like our Twitters and stuff. We talk a lot of random smack.
Oh, yeah.
With the addition of cat photos. So, you know, that's an added incentive.
Yeah, that's true. I don't post enough pictures of my cat, but I will remedy that.
Remember that one day we'll be blessed with more slinky photos. But yeah, with that, stay safe. Wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands. Cinnamon is good. And just stay safe, stay sane. Live your best lives. Go through that back catalogue of video games that you've been meaning to get to, that you bought on Steam sales and definitely knew you were going to play at some point. Now is the time. Contact your loved ones. You know, do everything to just keep happy and content. And
Learn some TikTok dances.
learn some TikTok dances. And we will hopefully speak to you next week.
We love you. Bye.
That was good. Okay. Alright, I gotta stop the recording.
Yeah,
now.
we do.
Yeah. I didn't stop the recording. Wait, stop!